Okay, so here's a model I want to share. This is if you have really struggled in your business and you just don't know why it's been so hard, why you can't seem to make progress. This is connected. It's sort of in the ethics inner work aspect, and I call this the trap. All right. We'll see if I can do this justice. All right. We deal with stress, let's say, in two fundamentally different ways, most people. Some of us collapse, and some of us posture. Yeah, we collapse or we posture. There's lots of ways. There's different models, different ways of saying this. But collapsing is we tend to make ourselves very small. Don't take up a lot of space. I'm super sorry for everything. Can't set boundaries. Shitty at negotiating. Over-giving constantly. And the terminal point of this is bitterness and resentment. Because I give so much to this community. Yeah. Posturing is the opposite, right? We puff ourselves up, make ourselves very big, swagger around. Do not overgive. Boundaries, but kind of boundaries like an electric fence. I would direct your attention again to most politicians. You know, it's easy to pick on the orange-skinned wonder that you got with the tiny hands. It's so small, but it's all the. I mean, really, take your pick with most politicians. The level of posturing, the pretense, the pretending. Yeah. Our Prime Minister in Canada is unbelievably posturing. I've never seen a more fake. It's unreal. I voted for the guy. I was a fan. I was so excited. But there's a pretense. You understand what I'm saying? A kind of plastic something that happens. And that's how people deal with stress or pain or trauma sometimes, is they make themselves very big. I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not vulnerable. Yeah. I would guess most of you are on the collapsing side. If I had to hazard, it's just in this scene. This is what I see a lot. But maybe for you it's posturing. But can you relate to these? Can you? Yeah. Okay. By the way, the terminal point of posturing, it's not resentment and bitterness. It's fear. Fear of what? They're going to find out you're faking it. You'll be discovered. You'll get busted. And it's true. You're faking it. It's not bad. Neither of these are bad. But they do have these consequences that go with them. Okay, so that's one set of things. But there's this. There are two archetypes fundamentally in business. There's a lot, but there are two that seem to be fundamental. Okay, of course we've got the entrepreneur. All right, no, I'll do artist first. There's the artist, and then there's the entrepreneur. You can see which one you are. Most of the clients I deal with in this room may be different, are the artist. But the artist is the one who just is driven by the music. They just want to make what they want to make. They got all these ideas. Their sense of the commercial viability of said ideas is fugitive most of the time. But they're creative, man. They come up with a lot of original stuff, the artist. And that's the idea. I got to make something new. I have to create something out of nothing. Yeah, these are the poets, the painters, the actors, but also people in business can certainly be heavily artistic. Again, driven by the muse who doesn't give a shit about your mortgage. Couldn't care less that you have rent to pay. It's 3 a.m. and it's like, I just got this crazy idea, some strings and coconuts, and watch what this is going to look like. Yeah, the artist will create a fringe play. for a theater festival, and we'll get 5 stars. It'll just kill. And the next year, I got to do something new. It's like, you could just do that show again. Yeah, it'd make you a lot of money. Yeah, you could tour it. I know, but that's last year. I got this new thing I want to try. Yeah, that's the artist, always driven to something new. And they're very focused on what they want to do and how they want to do it. They can have a golden opportunity on their lap. We will pay you to do this thing, just this one thing. That's all we want. But what if I had this? We don't want that. But what about this? I could do it. We could make this even, but what if we did this? You're fired. Yeah. The entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the one that always noticing problems in the world. This might be you, or excuse me, you have friends like this, where it's like, oh man, somebody could make a fortune doing this. Oh my God, why doesn't somebody make an app for this? Got a little bit of coding to solve this problem. This kind of thing. They're always just seeing the opportunities. It drives them crazy that they mention them to people and people are just unimpressed. Like, how do you not see this is genius. So what they're focused on is not the what and the how, they're focused on who. Who's got an unsolved problem that I can solve? Yeah. This target market thing is easy for them. Yep, this person on island A, they want to be on island B, got it. But what they're not so great at is creating something interesting, original, fresh. At the worst, the entrepreneur is kind of derivative, knockoffs, jumping on trends and fads, but not inherently creative. And at the extreme, of course, the artist is the Van Gogh. You die penniless and insane. It's great art. You get a museum after you're dead, but, he failed at everything he did in his lifetime. So, as you can see, there are some intersections here. What are they, you ask? Thank you for asking. You've got the collapsed artist. There's a posturing, there's a collapsed entrepreneur. We've got the posturing artist. Again, artist doesn't mean you're in the arts. It just means that's your way of moving in the world. And then you've got your posturing entrepreneur. I'd invite you to just look at this and consider which of these squares you primarily fit in most of the time. Again, this is kind of under duress, maybe not on your best days, but where do you fit most of the time? And I'll just call out the squares, no pressure to answer. You can just sit inside. So go ahead.
Okay, can you describe what is the...
Well, the collapsed artist would be somebody who's always driven by new things. They kind of resist structure and systems, and they're over-giving all the time. Yeah, give away a lot of their stuff for free, undercharging, over-giving, apologizing constantly. The posturing artist is same thing, but maybe a little more full of themselves, swaggering around a bit more. I'm the greatest artist the world's ever seen. I don't have to be an artist, but I'm really fantastic, but still resisting structure, still a rolling disaster. The collapsed entrepreneur, they're focused on solving problems. They see these needs, but it's again, they're giving their time away all the time and trying to be everything to people pleasing galore, kind of a deflated balloon, but still focused on solving problems. And the posturing entrepreneur, they're focused on solving problems, but they're kind of fake. They're plastic. They're puffing themselves up. They're preening a lot, peacocking. All hat, no cattle. Yeah. I'm hip to the jive. I'm from Alberta. We say the same things. So it's not. We could spend more time, but I'll just invite you to raise your hand if you feel like you fit in one of these. Raise your hand if you resonate with the collapsed artist most. Yeah, this would be most of the people I work with. Posturing artist, collapsed entrepreneur, posturing entrepreneur. No posturers, huh? Okay. That's what posturers always say. Sorry?
Maybe some days.
Maybe some, yeah. But no, it's true. The people who come to my workshop tend to be on the collapsing side. So this is the trap. The trap is this. There's no solution within these quadrants. That's the trap. You can't solve your business troubles while you're in one of those quadrants. Because this is what happens. People are the collapsed artist, and they judge the posturing entrepreneur. Oh my God.
Yeah.
These slick motherfuckers. I can't even believe it. I never want to be them. And then they go to a workshop led by one of these posturing entrepreneurs, and they see how much money they're making. And they say, maybe I could posture just a little bit. And this happened to a dear friend of mine. She went to one of these workshops, and she came home, and she was really inspired. She saw the money and kind of got the glamour of it, but saw a bit of the logic of it. And she got all of her friends into a room for a workshop that she led. And she did the kind of pitch, it's $10,000. Build up the value, but today, today it's this price. In fact, I really like you. Cross it off with a different color marker. Here's she did the whole spiel, and her friends looked at her like, "What happened to you?" And she said, back to collapsed artist. Right. So, people who are posturing think, "Oh, maybe if I just collapsed a little bit more, if I was just nicer." Then this is going to work. I'll just make myself a little small. I'm not going to be so big. I'll be a little more humble, but and it doesn't work. So there's a whole other domain that we have to get to.